You're listening to the Tom Kelly Show, the home of personal growth and fun. If you are new to the show, we try to do the show on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays in 20-minute chunks. We talk about how I'm fixing up my life, and I'm hoping to bring you along for the journey if you happen to be trying to fix up yours. I am Tom Kelly Show across the board on social media. Writing a nice review on iTunes or Apple Podcasts is great for my ego. Hitting like and commenting on YouTube, if you happen to be watching there, that's great for the ego. Sharing the podcast with a friend is so helpful because the more people I know I'm talking to, as a needy comedian, it's just makes me feel good. Yeah, and that's it, people. You know what? I'm kind of in a weird mood. Why don't we just start?
The Tom Kelly Show. Everybody, I want you to go to the Tom Kelly Show. I want you all to know about the Tom Kelly Show.
Trigger warning, spoiler alert. Good God, this is the worst cup of coffee I've ever had in my life. You are listening to and experiencing and consuming and digesting the Tom Kelly Show. Episode, I guess, 186. I'm going to own the insecurities today. I'm recording this on Easter Saturday, day before Easter. 2 days before my dad's birthday. No, 3 days before my dad's birthday, but 2 days before we're celebrating it. And 3 days before I fly to Los Angeles. I am going through some travel anxiety. Does that make sense? I've had this trip semi on the books since November. I don't think it was really confirmed till February. And in my mind, with all big comedy jobs, I don't believe the job is done until the check cashes. And my old friend and mentor, Sherry Shepard, or one of my mentors, many mentors, Sherry Shepard and I once had a long conversation about the stages of knowing you have a job. When you're young and full of hope, it's, I got the job booked. Or even before that, I got an audition to go to LA. Then it's, oh my God, I got the job in LA. But then you don't believe it. And I'm sort of in this level of, I don't believe a job happened until the check cashes. And she said, Tom, I wish you the next level of success, which is you don't believe a job happened until it airs, and there you go. And I don't know what the level of success is after that. So I have travel anxiety, first focusing on some of the positivity. I got a new mug and I just wanted to share it with you. Actually, I've just covered it. It says spread joy, that my finger's on the lower part of the, okay, I'm going to take a picture of this if I can get the camera to focus right. There we go. Ready? So I covered up, the mug says spread joy. And just as I'm hamming it, performing to the camera, I covered the lower part of the J so it looked like spread toy. Like I'm a spread toy, like I am a sexual toy. And that message goes out to, a friend. Goes out to my friend. Anyway, I am not a spread toy. Oh, look, even just now I just keep lowering the mug. I'm a spread toy. Travel anxiety and spread toys. That will be the name of today's show. Now, I got this mug at Marshall's before I go into the whole anxious thing, because I think spread joy could be the mission for this show. I went to the Marshall's next to Stand Up New York at the corner of 78th and Broadway in New York City. I needed tube socks for my trip. And because I'm running low on socks give me anxiety too, because I'm always losing them. I send my laundry out. It's a long story. It's part of why my rent is so cheap. You really have to add $200 a month in laundry into your expenses when you live in a New York City apartment, living a bachelor lifestyle. And I go buy some socks. I bought some new boxers for my trip. That's right. New boxer briefs, ladies and gentlemen. If you notice a little pep in my step, that's because I will have some new support. And I'm breaking my usual brand. Usually I get Banana Republic boxer briefs, but they're expensive and they closed a nearby Banana Republic. So I'm taking a gamble on some new Hanes boxer briefs. And we'll see if I have some pep in my step. Anyway, back to my spread toy, or my mug that says spread joy. I'm giggling every time I say spread toy. Anyway, back to the spread joy mug. Marshalls. If you ever gone to Marshalls, and I think TJ Maxx does this. I know Martin's of Maine, if Crystal Lennick is listening, does it. They have, as you're going up to the registers, they have this long line full of things you should buy on impulse buy. And I bought this mug because I think spread joy is a better mission for the Tom Kelly Show compared to holding up a show from a mug from the Tamron Hall show, which I'd rather spread joy be my message than, hey, still looking for work, Tamron, being my other mug. I've said what I need to say there. Anyway, but just like me, and you can kind of tell if you're watching on the YouTube, the mug is deformed. And I don't know if that is how it wound up at Marshall's for $6. You know, like, was it in the kiln, as they say in my pottery class? That's right. I just used the word kiln in a complete sentence. Now, did I really take a pottery class, or have I just seen Ghost 95 times? Hi, Whoopi Goldberg. Anyway, yeah, it's kind of a little deformed. There's a little rainbow on the back, and I just kind of think it sums me up. Tom Kelly, spread toy, spreading joy. Travel anxiety. I have enormous travel anxiety, especially for trips when I'm planning ahead, especially trips when I'm performing ahead of time. Because, you know, first of all, you start getting that doubt of, am I funny enough? Am I going to be good? Am I going to have new jokes? What jokes do I have to have? What am I going to need to do? What am I going to do? You know, and then the next level is I'm going away for a long time. And geez, from when I went away to college, there was just every time I leave home, especially at the beginning, something would go wrong. You know, or at least the fear of something going wrong would be. Like my grandfather, who I love, a great man, who, you know, my Italian grandfather was a great man. But God bless, there was just a few stories that made me a nutcase, his influence. The month or two before I was going to college, he kept saying, Tommy, I'm not gonna be here when you get back. And I remember one of those times I just went out to the car and wept like an effing baby and realized he lived for another 11 years, a good 11 years after that. I wept like a effing baby at least twice out in his driveway. And I'm not going to be here when you get back. And the funny part is I went away to college and I was back 3 days later for Labor Day weekend because it was my brother's birthday. And everybody kind of went home for the third day of Labor Day, like Labor Day Sunday and Monday. You know, and then I went away another time, you know, people, you know, at home got sick and you had to go back and forth. And so the anxiety of being 3 hours away was kind of like just enough. So it's kind of weird. Even with going to Florida, it just feels closer. Like, God forbid, if something goes wrong with the planes down in Florida, I can rent a car, borrow a car, and be home in 18 hours. Though the way I drive, probably 28, but I pee a lot. You know, yeah, so it is anxious. Somehow driving the 3,000 miles flying the 3,000 miles feels longer. So there's anxiety with that. And then the big thing I get anxiety about is packing. I always forget one damn thing. And it's become a running joke with some of my older friends. But when I don't have friends with me traveling, the anxiety gets worse because it is real. I really do try my best to pack, and I really do forget one major thing every trip. Like, I mean, and it's funny, there's jokes about me going to weddings and not having a suit or a shirt or a button down or something crazy. Reminder, put button down shirt in my pack. Yeah, I'm actually writing that down. I don't have a button down in my giant suitcase. I have a few shackets. This is my blue shacket that I'm wearing for the podcast. That'll go in. And listen, my Uncle Jim once said, when I talked about my intense travel anxiety, Uncle Jim said, you can always just buy something when you get there. And he's right about a lot of places, but then he's also kind of really wrong about the few places I've gone. My first real, I remember screwing up travel anxiety trip was for George Cabrera's wedding. George Cabrera, now the state senator from Northern Hamden, Connecticut. He got married to his college sweetheart, Rebecca, still very happily married. And he invited me to his wedding in Massachusetts. Actually at a place, and this has to be right around the year 2000. So I'm 22. Someone could do the math later. I'm 22, 23. And I get to the wedding, and remember, I'm still living at home with my parents, and I just pulled a suit off the rack of my childhood bedroom. Drive the 3 hours to get up there. And it's about an hour. I get a good nap in. Oh, I love a good nap. Get a good nap in. And then I put on the suit and I realized, mother effer, the suit was not my 22-year-old suit. It was a suit that I wore to Michael Katz's bar mitzvah in 1988 when I was 14 or 12, whatever the hell the numbers are. Do the math later, people. And it's just that moment of the blazer kind of fit. And then I hit the pants and it's like, no way. And remember, for me, even though I am the man who owns IHateWeddings.com, I am very superstitious about weddings. And for as much hurt as I've caused my friends at weddings over the years, I don't try to cause that hurt. For as much stress as I've caused my friends at a few of the weddings, I don't sit out there and saying, I want to be disrespectful. It kind of just happens, So I basically went to the ground floor of whatever mom and pop Holiday Inn. It wasn't even a Holiday Inn. It was like a Clarion. It was something like that. It was the same place Mike Pizzullo got married, if anybody remembers that. It was in outside of Fall River, Mass. Anyway, trying to find a place to, and I basically said, where can I go buy a new suit? And they're like, Tom, you have to go drive an hour to Boston. Oh, fudge. And then they gave me a few like places for gaps and whatnot. And whatever it is, I put together a hodgepodge, borderline respectable outfit. Got to the wedding an hour and a half late, like well into dinner, because I didn't want to be the guy in jeans and a t-shirt at the wedding. And then I got to the wedding and there were a lot of guys in jeans and t-shirts. George is from, not poor. George is from Bridgeport, and he's Puerto Rican. And it sounds crazy, but the culture of the Connecticut Puerto Rican wedding was not Long Island Italian. And yeah, it was just much more casual where, again, I'm from a family where I almost wore a gray suit to my grandfather's funeral and my mother went nuts. What are you doing wearing light black? So again, anxiety. Second travel anxiety story. Augusta, Georgia, my second road trip ever as a comedian. You had to fly to Atlanta and transfer and you fly. I went on my first road trip ever, drove down there. Magical time. And the second time going to Augusta, it was right after 9/11. It was Thanksgiving weekend after 9/11, and it was just a creepy experience. Yeah, creepy experience. And how do I sum that up? Yeah, creepy experience. I went from being down there for the Augusta Speedboat National race in July, where all the hotels were packed, parties everywhere you go, to really me being the only guy in town. And speeding to the story, I was working at Rosie O'Donnell at the time, and I booked my flight for Sunday. And I was wrong. I booked it for Monday and had to miss a day of work at a job where nobody missed a day of work. And I stayed that extra night in Augusta, and the hotel I was staying at had the Irish gypsies is what they were called. And I think that's a slur, but if you met the people, this particular group of people sure felt like a slur. And they had what they would call, it looked like a bridal auction. Let's put it like this. It looked like basically in the hotel, it was a lot of people who, white people who, with the women though, were like JonBenet Ramsey made up. And a lot of girls, like little toddler, pretty girls. And the women, the grown women, had like real, like done up 1950s, 1960s hairdos. The men were dressed, like in jeans and a t-shirt, like, or button down, like casual, upscale casual wedding, casual Cabrera wedding will now be the name of that look. And it was creepy. Like you felt like the outsider, like you had just walked in on a cult. And I stayed that extra night in the same hotel. And yeah, there you go. The Irish Gypsies of Augusta, Georgia. I don't know if it's still a thing, but that's how it was explained to me. And I apologize to my Romanian friends because I know we do have a big, big listenership in Romania. And the third one, I've told the story on the show before. Kissed wedding, 2005. Get to the airport. First time I ever book a flight ahead of time. Whatever happened, my brother and sister-in-law went on a trip and took the good luggage. I now take one last piece of luggage I got downstairs for $19 downstairs from my apartment to go to the Kissed wedding. And I pack a suit. There's nothing in this damn box, in this damn suitcase, right? And speeding through the story, the woman who is checking the bags is excited to be able to charge me an extra $200 for the extra 2 inches on my giant suitcase. I'm like, there's only 2 things in it. She's like, these are the rules. And I'm like, give me your ID number. And she laughs and she goes, why? Are you going to write a letter? They won't care. Ha, 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 ha. And I did. I wrote a letter. They didn't care. And I said, F this. I paid $200 for the flight. I am not going to double my price because I brought a big bag. At this point, too, in my life, $200 is a lot of money. I mean, it still is, but at this point, there's nothing in the bank. So I say, F this. I'd rather not go to the wedding. I'm going to go travel around and try to find a suitcase. And true story, as I'm moving away, there's a very nice Jamaican lady at the other end of the counter. She waves me over. She says, sir, I saw you fighting with my partner there. I have a solution, but you may not like it. I'm like, what's the solution? She goes, I'll sell you a cardboard box for $10. I'm like, I'll do that. And she says, but that means you're going to have to throw away your luggage. I'm like, yeah, but I paid $19 for that. And so, and there's a big picture of me flying to Savannah, Georgia, getting on the drunk trolley at the Kissed wedding. And everybody sees me in jeans, a t-shirt, and instead of nice luggage, I'm now meeting all of Brian Kist's fancy in-laws holding a giant box that says Delta. The kicker for the story is I eventually am unable to buy luggage. Take that, Uncle Jim. There's no luggage shops in the downtown Savannah area. So I say, screw it, I'll just take the box back. And I go to the airport. And this is where I need the benefit of having friends when I travel. This is why I like to go to Florida. If I screw up, if I die in Florida, there's 20 friends who will come to the hospital to identify the body. If I die up in Maine, Crystal Lennox up there to identify the body. Something happens to me on Long Island, my family's there. And then if something happens in the city, it's an hour and a half away. Right now, my nephew Nico is the only one who has keys to the apartment. Chandra, the cleaning lady, can get in. And my super could at least get in. Anyway, I'm now at the airport. I have my Delta box. I'm going to pay to check the luggage. And the man says, I'm going to need you to sign a waiver that this is substandard packaging. And I'm like, but I bought the box from you. Yes, well, It's substandard packaging. I'm like, it says Delta on it. Yeah, well, it's substandard packaging. And I'm like, mother, and Adam Zajac, one of the most calming people from my high school group, sometimes anxiety producing, but equally calming, says, Tom, just go with it, Tom. Just go with it. And I paused, and I was on the same flight as him. Thank God he was on the checkout line or the check-in line right behind me. And that's what we did. Yeah. And those are my 3 travel stories, friends. So I'm going to be in LA. I've recorded a couple of shows ahead of time. They're actually very funny shows. I've recorded at least 2 with my friend Christian Blatt. I may get a 3rd one out before I get on the plane. But I am anxious. I am not going to be responding to Instagram messages quite so quickly, specifically saying that to Ryan Wally, who I know loves me and has told me everything about the Danvers School District. Answering your questions now, I am not working with what's my itinerary? See, these are the anxiety-producing questions. Have I started sleep apnea testing? Yes. I am going to delay whether or not I get an apparatus until after I get back. They recommended a mouth guard or a low-end machine. They're expensive. Second one, what's my itinerary for California? I have 10 days of work and 10 days of play in there. Am I working with Nick Cannon? No. And I will post pictures on all the social feeds. Okay. And that's it. So shouting out for the Magic Mirror time, Magic Mirror 2, Fred the mailman, Magic Mirror time to Lori, who listens to the show when she showers, and Magic Mirror time to Ryan, who I just read your Instagram messages. And of course, all my friends who comment on the pictures and YouTubes, to Ryan and to the other Ryan, and to Brett, and to Jacob, and to Marianne, and to Diana, and to Ashley, and to Tara. And who else am I thinking of here? And of course, to Chris in Germany, and all of my friends who listen. Thank you. I see you. And I'm going to actually, and the other thing on my anxiety list is, do I bring a giant microphone to California and really risk weighing my bag down by another 20 pounds so I can have perfect sound quality from the hotel room? These are the things driving me nuts. And you can take the journey of me going crazy as we progress. Good night, New York.